Day 16, it's meal number 5. Now, um, I left off last time, I'm recollecting, talking a little bit about chronic pain. And I'm realized and kind of walking with that over the last couple of hours, I really need to do an entire series on being able to cope with chronic pain and to transform your experience into something that is life giving. I know some people have potentially pain that they may always be living with their entire lives. And I met a number of people like that when I was at the UMass Stress Reduction Clinic and then afterwards working privately with people, helping people. And so I know a little bit about it. Most importantly, what I know about it is from my own experience. I mentioned I had a pain in my foot for 7 years, and one of the things that helped me immensely with that, and it was from an accident, from a sailing accident, and I had done a routine of a type of a body work called Rolfing, and it's a highly precise, methodical body work methodology going through and releasing with enormous amounts of holding and pressure every single connective tissue of your body, really, like your entire body. That helped to clear that pain up. It was like really like an amazing thing to me. And then I mentioned that I had 3 epidural nerve blocks in the last thing, and I didn't really give you any detail of that. That wasn't related to the foot problem. I got hurt in a jiu-jitsu tournament fight, and I twisted my leg in a strange way on a takedown, and my leg went numb, and my back partly went numb, but I could still had some feeling in my foot. I was able to continue. I ended up losing that match, but I was able to continue on the way the tournament worked, and I ended up actually taking third place, kind of really, kind of messed up actually. And then next thing you know, after that, after I had rested a little bit, and my back started to kind of cramp up. And I had forgot about what I did to my hip. Some time later, I was able to look back on the films of this and see, exactly where I caused this injury. But the pain that I experienced was very debilitating. Like I couldn't get out of bed. Like it was so bad that I couldn't reach over next to my bed to get a glass of water. And I was in bed all the day. I had a phone like right on top of me, and I got so thirsty, and I couldn't grab a drink of water. And it was like one of these battles in my mind. It's like I need some help. I need some help, and I can't ask for help. I can't. I'm gonna call somebody to come and give me a drink of water when I got water right there. It was one of the most challenging things I ever did was pick up the phone, would call my neighbor Dan, and I'm like, Dan, I need a drink of water. And Dan was like, I'll be right over. Right? The greatest guy in the world. Came over, let himself in, came up, saw what condition I was in, helped me get the water. And I was in pain beyond my wildest imagination. In fact, I did not know that it was possible to be in that level of pain. And it was like extraordinarily interesting learning experience. So, I mean, pain at the level I thought, I'm checking out. This must be it. And so Dan got a little bit scared. He called our other neighbor, Rick, who's a chiropractor. And Rick came over and Rick, was very concerned also. And like I obviously needed medical care. And we called our massage therapist friend, Jim Durant, who's a kind of very specialist with very precise, deep tissue work. And he's always been able to help me with every injury. And he came, and even he was like, wow, like I was in trouble. Finally we have a physician student, Bob Carroll, who actually kind of helped me a little bit and kind of got me oriented at least. And then I got involved with a person that I met who's an amazingly good physical therapist and a very good trainer, Perry Siegel. And Perry was instrumental in helping me to find my way eventually, but it wasn't without a lot of suffering. And so I had 3 epidural nerve blocks. And the nerve blocks did not even come close to touching the amount of pain that I was in. Eventually, I was able to work my way to get out of bed. I'm walking barely with a cane. I had these nerve blocks on 3 different occasions. It's an X-ray guided process. They shoot between your vertebrae and shoot something, I have no idea, whatever it is, in between your vertebrae to try to block the nerve to give some relief from the pain. It didn't work at all. And it was sometime through, I was on the schedule to have back surgery, and had a little bit of help from a jiu-jitsu guy in Florida who's a surgeon, Guy Scuderi, awesome guy, and looked at my blood work and kind of consulted with me a little bit. And he's like, Jim, you got to be retreated for Lyme disease, which I had, and that helped me. A little tick bite kind of took me down for a while, right? But I was still high with these titers with the Lyme disease. So I got retreated by an awesome doc at UConn, 2 thumbs up UConn, and who also was very similar to me. He's an old rugby guy, and he had pain also in some ways. And it's through a process of recruiting and working, I decided not to have surgery. Perry helped me we found another doc and Perry got the idea, something, this might be your hip. So I did a dye study on my hip. Sure enough, they sort of shoot a dye into your hip, and they look at it with like an x-ray and see how it works. Sure enough, that confirmed there was a tear in the labrum of my hip. That was the whole problem, and it goes back to that tournament fight. Anyways, I'm taking a long way to get to maybe some of the point. The thing in the middle of all that, of dealing with chronic pain, I'm realizing I need to do an involved series on this, that it's a little bit hard to conceive of, but in the middle of all of that, if we were really willing to ask for help, like the asking, the reaching, that was the hardest part for me, to call Dan and just ask for help to get a drink of water when the water was sitting right there. But that kind of finally breaking past this sort of isolation that I was in, and getting bad enough that finally I made that effort, that little effort to let Dan in and to let these people in, to let go of the armoring that I was, really experiencing. That little effort was very, very important. A little opening. So finding the little openings, finding the space. I talked before about how mindfulness, how the awareness of breathing and the letting go of the mind that wants to go here and there and think about the past and think about the future, the letting go and coming back to the here and now, doesn't magically solve anything, but it does magically help us make a space. And in that space, in this inner space inside of us, that space is a place where we can find and feel our connection with everyone and everything. And that, for me, that finding that space and breathing into that space and connecting with people and connecting inside myself, making the bird nest that we talked about, because no matter how bad the pain is, it's not possible for every minute square millimeter of your body to be in an incomprehensible amount of pain. It's not possible. There will be at least 1 square millimeter that we can find, that we can then focus on. And whatever we focus on gets bigger. This is the brilliant thing, that our mind is like the most amazing magnifying glass in the universe. Whatever we focus on gets bigger. If we can find one tiny little place that actually can feel good and focus there, put our mind there, that one tiny place becomes the bird nest, the place that holds all the parts that are in pain and suffering. I'm much more aware of this right now because I got sort of smacked very, very hard, like right here in the face, and teeth clanked. Bit the back of my tongue, like really bad. It was, bleeding, like a lot. Okay, so as I talk right now, I'm also in the place of choosing. This can rest in the context of a much bigger realm that can hold this pain, or my mind can wrap around this like this is everything. And that's sort of what happens in terms of pain. You start to wrap around it and you tense up around it. You tense up around it, and that tensing actually makes it worse. Okay, the tensing up makes a little bit of sense in the terms of area of the body trying to protect us. Trying to protect us. It does help if we can come into the equation and say, okay, we're protected. Trillions of cells of workers in our body. Part of us are hurting and injured. Everybody else needs to form a bird nest and make a safe place and work together to provide the nutrients, the energy, the attention, the awareness to help this area repair itself. This area knows what it's doing. Help is here. Help is already, it's not like it's on its way. Help is here in our mind and body. So that's a little bit of some of how to work with pain. Now, we may have small experiences of pain when we let go of eating things that are very sugary. It may feel annoying, aggravating. We may feel cravings. We may feel just emotions and feelings that we have not felt ever or for a while. And same way, we can breathe and feel the satisfaction of breathing in and out. We can put our mind in a positive place. We can extend our hand to someone. We can open a little bit. And in the opening, we touch a place in ourselves where there's extraordinary spaciousness, a kind of spaciousness where we're interconnected, we're interdependent with everything in our universe. Now, I'm about ready to have meal 5. Shortly before this, I was at Costco. I was a little hungry. Thank you, universe. There was a guy there that was sampling some unsweetened almond milk. So I had a cup, about a whole cup of almond milk. He was very generous. I'm like, could I have a little more? He was like, please drink all that you want. And it was super delicious. I looked at the ingredients. No added sugar. There's a small amount of protein, the tiniest amount of carbohydrates, and a small amount of fat. And it was super good. And I bought a couple boxes of it. That'll become this over the next few days, part of what my diet is. So that was a little piece of this current meal number 5, which what I'm having here, I have some tomatoes cut in half with salt and pepper. I have a small block of feta cheese, about half the palm of my hand, just a little snack. And then I'm going to have what it amounts to about maybe 2 or 1.5 tables of hummus. That'll be meal number 5. I'm feeling super good. Part of me is hurting a lot, but the more of me is feeling unbelievably fantastic. All right. Sylvana and I are going to head over to a little Mediterranean restaurant in West Hartford called Zohar. It's a really amazing place. I'll check in with you there. Typically each day, it's about 4 videos a day, spaced out every 3 or 4 hours. Today's going to be 6. But I'll check in with you at Zohar, and I'll show you how we're ordering and how we're eating there. It's fun to go out. It's fun to do stuff. It's fun to experience the way places make different things. But there's ways to order and ways to handle ourselves that will help our body chemistry and help us find and maintain balance. Let's intend it right into existence. Living joyfully, using food as our medicine, embracing opening to food, being what is connecting us with our inner ecology and our outer ecology, plants, our world around us, people. And I, as part of my thing here, is I'm exploring portion size and in a way that's life-giving. And it's been working. It's been going quite well for me. Keep in mind, you don't have to eat the amounts that I'm eating. There's kind of a recommended sort of larger amount of food. I think that's probably appropriate for most people. 2 handfuls of everything green, protein, a rich, a lean, not rich, a lean protein the size of the palm of your hand, and some fat, good quality fat, about the size of your thumb. So, good choices. Eighth of an avocado is a pretty good choice. Couple of them macadamia nuts are a pretty good choice. Pretty good fats in those. Okay, well, that's it for now. I'll see you at Zohara in a few hours.